Carl Grimes, the kid who grew up in a world of walkers, traumas, and survival, a symbol of growth, a symbol of hope, a symbol of what could have been. So why did The Walking Dead fumble his story so badly? This is why Carl Grimes deserved better. Carl was introduced as the son of Rick Grimes, just a scared, quiet kid in season 1. He was protected, sheltered, but by season 2, he's already being forced to grow up, killing walkers, holding a gun, losing his mom, and one of the only characters we got to watch grow up in real time. We literally watched his childhood die, and that's not an exaggeration. The apocalypse took it from him, but he kept going, he adapted, and he started making his own decisions. The moment in the prison, Carl putting down his own mother, that wasn't just trauma, that was the birth of a survivor. He stopped being son of Rick Grimes, and he became his own character. Now, here's where Carl stood up. He had a moral center in the world where it was being punished just for having one. Rick lost it. Carol went too cold. Daryl stayed guarded. But Carl believed there was still a better way. Even in the end, when everything was collapsing, when Negan was ruling and people were dying and hope was fading, Carl chose peace. He didn't want revenge. He didn't want future. One where people didn't have to kill each other to survive. That's rare in The Walking Dead. Carl's goodbye letter to Rick. And that letter, that wasn't just to Rick. That was to us, the audience. Let's do better. Now, if you've read the comics, you know Carl's story is way far over. In fact, Comic Carl is arguably the main character after Rick. He survives, he has a family, he helps build the new society. He has a daughter. He gets his whole arc with the Whisperers, with Lydia, and even beyond that. He grows up to be the man his dad always hoped he'd be. But the show, they cut that short. All of it, gone. And they handed his arc to Judith, who got, don't get me wrong, is great, but she's like 6 when it starts. It's not the same. It's like baking a cake for 8 seasons and throwing it out right before it's done. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Carl's death. You probably didn't click on this thinking I was talking about how Carl grew up just to die, but maybe you were. A random walker bite? No big battle, no heroic sacrifice, no Whisperer war, just a bite from helping a random guy. And it's not like the show was being realistic all of a sudden. I mean, this is the same series where Glenn survived under a dumpster, where Morgan became a Jedi and people got shot and still fought like ninjas. But Carl gets taken down by a walker off screen. It didn't feel earned, didn't feel right, and it felt like a shortcut. They wanted Carl merely for peace, but instead of writing that journey, they just killed him. The world he dreamed of, he never even got to see. Let's not forget Chandler Riggs, the actor who was Carl. He gave his whole childhood just for the show when he went 10 years old all the way to 18, and then was told pretty suddenly, hey, you're off the show. He found out after being a house near set to college. His dad spoke out. Fans were angry. Not just because Carl died, but because it was pointless. The actor deserved more respect. And he wasn't just a side character. Carl was the heart of the show. Chandler Riggs earned his place, and fans, they were ready to follow him into adulthood. Carl could have been one to lead Commonwealth, to face the Whisperers, or to represent the next generation that would have learnt from the past. Instead, we got side stories, filler episodes, and reused arcs. Imagine Carl standing at the end of the series with Judith, looking at a peaceful community he helped build. Imagine that full circle where Rick dies and his son finishes the mission. The ending we deserved, the ending Carl deserved. Carl Grimes was more than just Rick's kid. He was the soul of The Walking Dead. And he is proof that we even have, in the world full of death, there's still room for growth and for change, for hope. But the writers took that from us, from him, and that's why Carl Grimes deserved better.